Build it up just a touch. Little socks. It's good. Let me turn this on. So dark, right?
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, before we begin, we want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakurash. Give honor to the elder apostles of the great Muslim who well, peace and salutations. So the hopefully elect tabernacle of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And we're just gonna go with the spirit, and we don't have an actual set topic, but there's plenty of things we can tap into, especially concerning prophecy. That's really the only thing that we should be concerned with. Right now, yeah. Hey, it's looking, hey, things getting ready to turn up. It's gonna get crazy. But how much more is our salvation closer?
So right with the Heavenly Father.
That's it. And we just had the Day of Atonement. So but we as a nation we was able to atone for our souls. We want mercy at the end of the day. We want the Heavenly Father to have mercy upon us in the time of trouble. Because we know that judgment is pouring out. All right. So I don't know if go ahead.
On this Second Peter 3:11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking forward and hasting unto the coming of the day of Yahushua, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
Basically, when you start back up after the verse, it says, "What manner of person ought you to be in all holy conversation?" Which we know the word there for conversation is anastrophe. It basically means is dealing with your conduct or your behavior, how you conduct yourself as a man of the Lord. As an Israelite.
Right.
Okay? You're supposed to be, moving in the fear of Yahweh Shai. All right, being charitable amongst each other, all right, being brotherly, okay, keeping the commandments to the best of your ability. If you're one of the teachers, the prophets, you're supposed to be on fire, still storing up, those good treasures for yourself. And in that time, the Lord will see what's in your spiritual bank account, and He will have mercy upon you. All right, because we're hastening the coming of the day of the Lord, man. We're desiring for a new rulership, a new regime on the earth, a new dominion, and that's what's coming when Yahushua returns. But in the meantime, we got to go through the labor pain, the travail, because in order for the kingdom to be established, that newborn baby has to be born. It tells you that in Isaiah the 66th chapter. Matter of fact, if you can go to it.
I'll say this, right? Like grab it. Those birth pains, you got all those pains that come. So it's going to be tribulation, Jacob's trouble, time, the hour of temptation, so on and so forth. But it's going to yield new life. To keep that analogy going.
If you can get Isaiah 66, it'll start like around.
We're talking about that part.
Verse 7. You can read down.
So on this Isaiah 66:7. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man child. Who has heard such a thing?
That she is in the context of the nation of Israel. It's looking like unto that comely woman.
Okay.
Who hath heard such a thing? Who hath seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day?
And we know at this time period that we're in now, it will never be the like it before and never again. Okay, this is a time that's a major historical moment spiritually happening in the earth right at this time now. You've never seen this many catastrophes. You've never seen this many ungodly people on the earth. You're never going to see a judgment and a deliverance of anybody ever happen like this before, nor will you ever see this happen again. This is a major time in the earth that's happening right now. And that's why we're fighting and jockeying for positions, man. To get on, not to say I want the first seat, no, but to get on the chariot, making our calling and election sure. Yeah.
It says, shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day, or shall a nation be born at once?
Yeah, it builds up, it manifests, another way, it's the water. It's a process that comes. It starts with a little bit here, like the pains grow. What was the scripture? Brother, another quote of it. The pains grow stronger as the day gets closer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just like in this truth, right? You come in as a baby, you got to start off with the simple, simple understanding of the scriptures, which is the milk. Then once you get a full age, it's a gradual process into understanding the deep things that God wants you to show. Just like these plagues are. So we have to begin the sorrow. Right? We're the beginning of those contractions, those birth pains.
It says, shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day, or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring to the birth?
What did that last verse say? As soon as what?
For as soon as Zion travailed,
Uh-huh.
she brought forth her children.
Yeah, that's that major travail. That's once the water break. That's what's that woman called also?
Water breaks.
Yeah, contractions, but you're going into labor. What? You're going into labor. Okay, that's the day of the Lord, man. That's the travail that's coming. That's the time of demonstration. Okay, but then what's gonna happen is the man child is gonna come, which is Yahweh Shah. He's gonna come, and then that's when everything's gonna be. It's gonna seem to be harder, but then us that know they go to head. It's almost, this is the process almost being fulfilled. The crowning, beautiful. The crown folks out. So this is we're likening this unto giving birth, but this is the situation of a process of how the end times and the travail of hard times of a birth coming to life with the times of the birth of a righteous kingdom with a righteous seed beginning again in the earth.
Yeah, and once, after the woman goes through her labor, she finally incubates her child. It's like soon after, she's very relieved and very happy that she she brought forth her child. She ain't even worried about, she ain't even thinking about the pains that she just had to endure.
It's quoted in Sirach, I think it's 11th chapter, prosperity, but it's another one.
It says, for joy that a man is born into the earth.
No, I know you do. I know you were talking about forgetfulness.
Yeah, there's forgetfulness of affliction. It said the day of prosperity, but it's the same thing. You don't have to get it, but the same thing when it's when the day of when your child is brought forth. There's no more remembrance of and vice versa. You ain't gonna be thinking of when you're in that pain. You ain't gonna care about the wonderful life that's to come. You're gonna be worried about like, I gotta get out of this. Okay, so those are the two analogies that we're using to show you that the day of the Lord, when it comes, it's going to be a very tumultuous and adverse and what was the word, afflicted time, but it's going to come a beautiful thing out of it.
Right. Yeah, because when the elect is delivered, the Lord said He's going to wipe tears, wipe the tears from our eyes, no pain, the Revelation, first chapter, no sorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
This is 2 Corinthians 4 and 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and external weight of glory.
It's coming. Because going back to the analogy of that birth, that process of pushing out the baby is a affliction, man. It's what your body is amped up due to the hormones and all that being activated, and then what? It says working for us an exceeding eternal weight of glory, right? Which is the baby being born, you're able to hold that child and actually cherish it, man. Because what throughout that pregnancy, you have those what they call it, the contractions with the millimeters and all of that.
Yeah.
You know, you may get a 6 sometimes, you may have to throw up or whatever.
Morning sickness.
Yeah, morning sicknesses, so on and so forth, stomach aches.
So it's a process.
Yeah.
You know? So getting to the kingdom of heaven is gonna be a process. It's gonna be times where, you know, you gotta push through.
Hey, if you haven't been going to Lamaze, breathing and stretching and walking and doing all those things, preparing your body for this time, basically, you said in the spiritual sense, preparing your mind with praying and good works, and rehearsing the righteous act, and fasting, and so on and so forth. If you haven't studying and gaining this wisdom, if you haven't been doing these things leading up to this time, you're going to be ill prepared. That's when the women will be like, oh my God, I gotta have what's that, epidurals and so on and so forth. Hey man, this is labor without epidural. The time we're coming into. You gotta deal with this full fledged pain.
That's very quickly.
No doubt.
Because this is exactly what you were speaking on. This is second, First Peter 1:13. It reads, "Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shai."
Yep. I got another one real quick going right into it.
And in the NLT translation, it says basically prepare your mind, be ready for action. So that means that you got to prepare, for the difficulty. You got to go through the straight gate. So that's the tribulation. We know it's going to get tight. It's going to get real tight, man.
Yeah.
I did a lesson earlier going into how a lot of us, we got family. You might have certain families that you're close with. You have to let them go, man.
Yeah. Hey, they're already been divided.
The Most High is doing the separation ultimately.
Right. And we're showing that simple things as you don't have your jabs or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We can't hang out like that. We don't. I forgot what the statistic was, but it's bigger than this. Like I think 3 out of 7 or something like that don't want to hang out with you no more because if you don't have it, it's just that separate. Or if you do have it, vice versa, it's almost 50%. To where nobody wants to hang out with you if you don't have the same health beliefs as they do. To say it that way. I got to finish up. Everybody's good. This is Isaiah chapter 13. This is something together. Isaiah 13, and I'll start at verse 6. It says, "How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman in travail, that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames."
And that's going into when the missiles come,
which is the culmination, and that's really but that's the full moment of when Yahweh Shai is truly going to show himself, because that's the moment of the actual physical deliverance. I hate to say it that way, but yeah, as a physical deliverance of the elect coming about, as the physical manifestation of the destruction by that missile fire is culminating.
That's why I read the
I read verse 9, and you can break it further. It says, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it."
That's going into Babylon being destroyed. All right. Now, I mean, that's pretty much what that's going into. The Lord's gonna wipe, He's gonna level this place out, and going back to what we read in 2 Peter 3. We're hastening that time. We need these things to come to fruition. Sooner the better, so we can get the hell up out of here.
And we know that once these things take place, we're going to maybe have to go through pain, physical pain, mental pain, but we're prepared for that. We're preparing ourselves for these times. All right, what are you Israelites out there doing? If you're not preparing yourself, you're really preparing yourself for destruction, for death.
And that's one of the things that why the people in this world can't get a grip on it. We're out there on the highways and edges speaking, and even in our lessons throughout the week. Because how are y'all saying this? How are y'all so convicted in what y'all saying when y'all live here? Hey, we have hope, man. As for y'all people, hey man, y'all don't have no hope. You know, when we believe that, hey, we expect this thing, because going back to that word hope, it goes back to expectation. Our expectation is to do what? Is to continue through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, and that Lord willing we may be accounted worthy in that day, man.
Continue to endure.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, and it's funny, the lesson I went to a little earlier, I got posted, but anyway, our we've already aligned our will of the Heavenly Father. Okay, we our will is to do His will. Okay, like Yahweh Shai's was. We're not in here like, no, but I got a rap album next week, and then I'm about to go, train to be the next person to climb Mount Everest. And nah, we ain't got those worldly aspirations like that, to where we need this place to survive to accomplish it. We want the Lord's will, which His will is going to be to destroy all the earth, the wickedness of the earth out.
The Lord's time.
Right, and we're on His time.
Yeah. And how do we know that? Because of the prophecies. You know, as the prophecies continue to happen at a rapid rate, more prophecies being revealed, Esau's being revealed, that's prophecy, uprisings, all these things, earthquakes, that's the Lord's timeline. So as they intense, as they get higher, that's when we know we're getting closer and closer.
Exactly.
Yeah, plus, even Yahweh Shai said, he doesn't even know. Not even the angels know that they are the hour. So if they don't know, we certainly don't know. Then you don't know when the Lord can pop back up. So that's why that gives you more reason to be on your toes and be ready.
What was that? Yeah, I'm thinking of that.
Because you got guys in Israel, they have this attitude, hey, the Lord delayed His coming. He ain't coming anytime soon. So, let's.
Well, if He does come, He ain't gonna come until the end of 2022 or 23. Whatever.
They're gonna put the latest date possible. They're gonna push it all the way back.
Because the martial law gotta come. They're trying to put they got their own timetable. They're trying to come in another way, and it don't work like that. You got to go through the straight gate. Meaning denying your flesh, losing your life in this life.
Yeah.
Jeremiah 30:5. Thus said the Lord, you have heard a voice of trembling or fear, peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob, but he shall be saved out of it.
Yeah. And you got certain dudes that's moving like as if we're not coming into that time.
And Esau can't take this shit off at any second.
Bro,
One event.
We heard when Joe Biden and Trump had their little face off or whatever, and he made that statement,
Trump.
our dark winter.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What do you think he was when he said that? They already knew he was going to be selected. The agenda, everything, the plan, it was already rolled out. So we knew what he was referring to back then. People thought he meant that winter. No, it wasn't. It wasn't then.
Everything is this past winter.
Yeah. No, we're coming into that dark winter. And they finna plan on shutting shit down again. You already see what these strict mandates was going on. You already know chaos is getting ready to ensue all over the country. You got all these immigrants coming to the country. And you got Levi down there. They arrested him. I think Texas. Yeah, Texas.
Del
Rio, Texas, man.
You had one of the caravans of Issachar or Zebulon that's trying to come up to the border also.
Yeah. So you already know, man. It's gonna turn up. But you got guys that still acting like nothing's really going on.
Settle in lease.
Stay comfortable, settle on their lease. Dudes want to get into the music business and create a damn music label.
reality TV
And
show.
reality TV shows and shit, man. You're trying to do that in the beginning of sorrows.
The enemies at the door with their guns drawn.
Yeah.
You know,
So we know that there's a lot of dudes that's not prepared, man. They're not going to be prepared. You know, they can act the part. You know, they can speak a good game,
with your actions.
but their actions show.
Yep.
When they say dark winter, that has nothing to do with the natural seasons. That's just a time that they're gonna call that today, because the love of many shall wax cold in that same time. It has nothing to do with the type of heat that the sun is putting out. It's just about the affections that these draconian laws are gonna take away. Cold. Yeah, they're gonna be ice cold, man. You're gonna be like, damn, that's cold. You're just gonna force everybody.
Scripture says this shall be as madman.
It's beautiful. Cold heart. I got a couple of quick ones. All of them are from Matthew 24. Matthew 24, verse where did it go? 12. And because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. Jump down to yeah.
You're seeing that at a not at a high rate right now, but people are out there on their guard. People not letting their guard down.
Yeah.
You got a lot of Edomites that carry guns, you know, openly. You know, you got Jake out there bugged out. You know, a lot of people getting shot over road rage, and there's a lot of shit going
People
on.
losing their shit right
Yeah.
now. That shows you how unstable the people are because they don't have wisdom. Because the times are unstable, but we know the scriptures gave us stability. The knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of our time and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is our treasure. Okay, we fear the Lord. We know that what He's coming to do, that this is all setting that up. Okay, so we get in line with what that is. Another one, verse 20, it says, "Pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great."
Yeah, and he was giving them warning about 70
Yeah.
AD,
Yep,
but we can apply that to now.
absolutely.
Okay,
It's gonna be worse.
it's gonna be a lot worse.
And watch what it says next, 21. "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be." There's never going to be a dark winter like this, a harsh living situation as the one we're coming into. It says, "And except those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened."
So it's gonna be so bad that the Lord's going to speed the times up.
I got one more.
Because if he doesn't come back soon, there'll be nobody left to make it. This devil, he wants damn near extermination, man. He's on a small number of people on the earth, you know. So that's why they're moving so fast. You know, they want to get all that the snake venom in everybody,
Right.
except they self, of course.
Except they so. Like we don't notice that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Bird brands
The
out
Congress ain't got to do it. The CDC ain't got to do
Yeah,
it.
the Pfizer don't have to do
Yeah.
it. You know.
Pharmaceutical, they ain't got to do it, but everybody else here, y'all gotta get
They
it.
ain't got to wear their mask.
And wear your shit.
Yeah.
And then be on alert when we get the boozies.
Yeah,
You get your boozies.
I the people that's creating this, you know, ain't,
Yeah,
They don't trust it.
yeah, kind of.
That should tell you something right there. But the public is just too idiotic.
Yeah.
Too many of this folks walk in, hey, the Broadway, man, those people going to Broadway. This is a straight gate. Hey, and they gonna make sure this gate is straight. Very difficult, STRAIT. Not
It's straight line.
straight line, right. Because what did the president just say? He said, "My patience is wearing thin." Basically letting you know that he's about to start, and there's other governors and so on and so forth that's been saying, "Hey, take away some of these privileges," which some of these things that they're calling privileges are essentials. Like going to the grocery store, that's a privilege. They're saying
Right.
being able to go and do basic stuff, go to work,
They call it
it's a
travel.
privilege.
Privilege.
Yeah, it's privileges. So if you can't travel, if you can't move around, we know that to be martial law, but in another sense, it's also prison. I got a little bit more on this one. Matthew 24, and I'm gonna start at 42. It says, "Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour the Lord do come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is faithful and wise? Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom is whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant who his Lord come, when he cometh, shall find doing."
Doing what? Doing the work, watching, being a watchman for Israel, standing upon the high tower, blowing the trumpet, man. All right.
Yep.
And that's how you're getting Israel ready and prepared, because you're seeing the enemy come from afar. That gives Jake enough time to do what they got to do before the enemy comes.
Right. They've been warned.
But how are you going to do that when you're busy tied up with world affairs?
Yeah.
You're worried about if you start a record label, I want all my servants to sell 1 million records. We don't start a no calories radio records.
Yeah. Royalty.
Yeah, original royalty, all this shit, man.
All confusion, man.
It's good.
Take Jake off what's really going on. These niggas is basically like Esau.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then they're telling you to actually be comfortable with Esau. Trust in him.
What else did we see this week? Not to change the topic. We also saw these other leaders, or pseudo leaders, if that's what you want to call them. We call them leaders, the blind leaders of the blind, right? Saying that he is not the son of destruction. What? Is he not the son of perdition? What? Are you serious? Like you're not preparing the people for the things. That's basically with that message. That's basically you saying, don't worry about what he's doing. He ain't really worried about you. No, he's exactly worried about you and what you're doing, because he knows the only thing that's going to stop him is when we call upon our power. I got this a couple more verses. It says, verse 47, "Verily I say unto you, he shall make him ruler over all his goods. If that evil servant shall say in his heart, My Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants," and that's how they smite them, but not preparing them for the day of Jacob's trouble, not preparing them against the snake bite, not preparing them for the times that we're coming into, to get themselves spiritually prepared to endure these times. Okay, it says, "And shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and shall eat and drink with the drunken." Yeah, those that's off in La La Land, it's not sober to measure these times that we're actually living in, to know when that hour cometh upon you. All right. Okay. That was it on that. Yeah, you still in Peter?
And not didn't come. And not somebody just said it as none. I'll pick that up. Second that,
Chapter 9,
we start out.
verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Yep, go ahead.
Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and outbursts of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things in the days that were before thee.
And that's what we're constantly seeing. Earthquakes in diverse places and uproars of the people. But hey, them chanting "fuck Biden," that's
Yeah,
an uproar.
yeah.
In the stands and concerts, that's an uproar. The people over there in Australia, they running wild down there, man. They didn't had enough of this shit.
That's the problem here. These people haven't been fed up yet, man. That's the only reason why chaos hasn't been sued in America yet, man. Because you still got your, hey, even among the you know, the divide of those that are Vanessa versus those that aren't, man. You see, because the people here, they still have a sense of unity. That's because they're still able to eat. You know, they still have these delicacies, their liberties. But once all this shit get cut off, man, and people are going to become cutthroat. You know.
Well, you see a kind of a slight example of that over in New York right now.
Yeah.
They came down with the draconian mandates. And so now over there in New York, you can't even go to a restaurant, you know, without showing proof, you know, that you got the Vanessa, right? And so now you got like restaurant hosts standing outside, and they're actually asking for people, and you got to show proof. You show me your papers.
24-year-olds like at Carmine's. They sent out a 24-year-old young woman, I'm gonna call it, wasn't nothing more than a girl though, to deal with a crowd of people. To do that? Are you serious? You need a bouncer.
Yeah.
You need a bouncer out there.
Yeah.
You know, to
Send her
really
out there
control
to the she bears and shit, man.
Well, send her out to the wolves, man.
Wolves and shit. They whipped her ass out there, man.
Yeah.
You know, so they ain't gonna take too kindly to, you know, this thing just being an everyday thing.
Mm-hmm. And they were out of town.
Yeah.
They were from Texas.
Yeah, they were from Texas, yeah.
So Texas is kind of lenient on the whole juice mandates.
Yeah.
Go up to New York. It's about to be Nazi Germany.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man. So you could just see the tension is building, man. Something's gonna give, man, where people are finally just gonna start jumping out.
and that's when it goes into they should not regard their kings as princes.
Yep.
It is.
Because this place has, I think, the most guns per capita on the planet. The people gonna pull them guns out, and it's mostly you Edomites that have it. They're gonna pull them guns out, man. I think the number was per Edomite man, and it's Edomite, but per family was I think white family anyway. It's like 7 guns, like 400 million guns out there.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of Jays don't have that many guns like that.
Hey, and if they do, they don't got enough bullets.
Thank you. He got it. He making his bullets too.
Yeah.
It's different.
Imagine a lot of the military that has to walk away as being discharged.
Yep.
They got firearms. They trained to shoot.
Yeah, gone.
Especially if you don't give them nothing, because you know they're trying to figure out, well, now that we leaving the service, what the hell we gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, and y'all gonna help us out back in the States? Are they gonna give us some jobs and whatnot?
But they're not either, because an article just came out that they're gonna their checks will be withheld as well.
Yeah.
So,
Just like with police, their checks are gonna be withheld. Those that don't get the Vanessa, man. That literally just came out, man.
This nigga eat, man. And that's what's going to happen. And this is all part of the travail. Because people are starting to feel that travail. That's why they're so, you know, they're so antsy, man. Right? You know, people is on edge. And the brother posted scripture, Yahshua 144, Isaiah 24:8, the mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice, and the joy of the heart ceaseth. It also says, you know, the land of confusion is broken up, man. You know, there's a cry for wine in the streets. The mirth ceased. The mirth is ceasing, man. Yeah, you still got your little bread and circuses here and there, but at the end of the day, a lot of people they're in deep shit right now.
And you go back 10, 15 years, LeBron and Westbrook being on the same team would broke the internet. Nobody really cares now. That's not a headline anymore. That's back on page 6, 7, 8. Nobody cares about that going on. or you're so deep in it that you're ignoring all the real facts on page one. You know, and you're just that asleep that you don't want to see those things. You want to ignore them like they're gonna go away.
Yeah, a lot of Jakes see them, but they, like you said, they don't want to
Knowledge,
acknowledge it.
responsibility,
Yeah.
the living responsibility that
Like,
you have.
like they always think just what this can happen. No, it's happening.
Mhm.
You know?
Real quick, First Thessalonians 5 and 4 it says, "But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief."
Yeah, nigga, what, man? We're not in darkness because what? According to the scriptures, it says, hey, our light is shining before men. Why? Because hey, we have the light within us due to the fact that what we were washed by the word, man. So what? We're not going to be in darkness. We're not going to be in that state of unknowing or ignorance, hey, because we have the answers, man.
You depend on Esau's beast, man, you're in darkness.
God.
Yeah. It says, "Woe unto you that go down to Egypt for help. You woe me in destruction. This man ain't got nothing good for you." Got it, bro.
It says, "You are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Let us, it's like, and therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober."
And,
Thessalonians 5.
I got one after that.
Yeah. Let us not sleep as do others. Let us watch and be sober. You know, and in order for you to be a watchman, you got to be up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you up, you got to be alert. You got to be, paying attention. Jake is not. I mean, see, Jake, as far as they can go, is on TikTok.
Yeah. That makes them woke.
Yeah, they'll go on World Star, TikTok, and then mainstream news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not going out to the prophets that have been holding up them signs
Yeah.
that has actual posters of, martial law, barbed wire fence, soldiers with big assault rifles, concentration camps, the microchip.
Yep.
You ain't even think to go to those men and ask like, yo, I've been seeing that. Like,
Yeah.
yo, you know?
Yep. But y'all got the answers to what that means? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you may know what these things are, and you may know that the government wants to institute or implement these things, but you don't know how to get out of it. You don't know if you even qualify to be a part of something to escape it.
Yeah, because our people, they just think we're going to fight fire with fire. This is not a physical fight. Never is.
It's in plain sight.
I got one thing. It's in Romans 13 and 11. You want to say one more time? It said, and that knowing the time, meaning you have to, if you're watching, that's how you know. And knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep. Okay? For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. These people may be awoke, but they don't know that salvation is standing on the corner.
They think that, not even knowing that they're Israelite, they think that knowing about the JAB and Esau's plan and agenda, that they think that's enough.
They don't know what their spiritual identity is either, to declare to be woke. You don't, how are you awoke when you don't even know who you are? It goes on to say, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and in drunkenness, not in chambering and in wantonness, not in strife and envying. But put ye on the Lord Yahweh Mashiach, and make not provisions for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. And that's what we should be prepared of. Those are the ways of darkness going that way. That's what everybody else is doing. You can see these commercials. I know y'all watching TV to see these commercials. They're even on the internet talking about just take it so we can go back to regular life. Just take it. Everybody else, we want to see you at the family gathering. We want to go out. We had a trip that we were planning. Saying all this stuff. It's a pressure that they're putting on to get you to do it. To be like we like to laugh and say misery loves company with it, but that's really what it is. I did the dumb thing. Be dumb as me. First, but you don't have to unless you have a spiritual, a moral standard to stand on. And this is our moral standard. What we believe is our moral standard. You people can say you don't want to take it, but you don't have nothing to stand on.
I got a precept with you.
I got it.
Psalm 73 and 20, I'm going to read down. As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. So foolish was I and ignorant.
Could you run that back, bro? Okay. And what you read?
Psalm 73 and 20. As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Yahweh, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image.
Yeah, when you wake up, man, it's that it's like waking out of a dream. You be in the dream, you believe it's real, then you wake up, you're like startled, like what the fuck going on? And so when you're startled out of that lifestyle that you had, man, when you come into this thing, that lifestyle is over. You come a far way, and it's a rude awakening. That you're, that you this is the land of the free and the home of the American dream, but you got to be asleep to believe in that dream. So to wake out of that dream and see the reality that the government is set up to destroy you, that everything that you put your hand to, that they say we're trying to help you, is an obvious move of destruction against you. It's like, damn, this just sucks. And then to have to still take the L's of righteousness, the L's of following after righteousness, that you can't be in the world. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's like somebody woke you in a pleasurable dream, and now but this is like in the movie The Matrix, when he fully woke up, he was like, but this, would you really want to go back? Because now you understand and know differently. Now you understand. You got it, bro.
Verse 21. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. That's when we get to the straight. So foolish was I and ignorant, I was as a beast before thee.
The reins is now the Lord is controlling you to make you do righteousness now. And you can buck all you want. You can buck all you want. But the Lord, if you're meant for this thing, it's gonna be hard. You might get whipped, you're gonna get chastised. All these things are gonna happen, but He's gonna corral you to where you need to go. You might as well get in line with it.
So foolish was I and ignorant, I was as a beast before thee. So when you're in the world, you're like a beast before the Most High. Nevertheless, I am continually with thee. Thou hast holden me by my right hand. Thou shalt guide me with thy counsel, and afterward receive me to glory.
Beautiful. Guide me with thy counsel. This word is what's gonna guide you through all of this.
Because when it says that thou shalt despise thy image, basically, before you receive this truth and was basically reminded of who you were, you was made in the image of the beast. Esau was molding you and shaping you up. He was feeding you with all the your moral compass and standards that you grew up having. That was all coming from the beast, man. So once you awake, you despise that shit, man. Now you let the Lord take hold of you and control your reins to righteousness. And that's part of the Lord basically, taking that mental shackle, so to speak, off of you. Because now we're being made free.
Prisoners of Yahweh.
Prisoners of Yahweh Shai, man. Which we got free reign in Yahweh Shai. Okay.
You got something. 1 Peter chapter 4:1 is, for as much as then Yahweh Shai Mashiach has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men.
Hey, as a beast. I was as a beast at one point. Living after the flesh, after the will of men.
But to the will of the Most High.
And now you're on a complete different journey now.
It continues to say in verse 3, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, that beastly spirit that we were once in, when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange and you running out with them to the same excess of rioting, speaking evil of you.
Evil of you. Going straight to that precept. I will allow my war 144K. Yeah, truth fell it, and he that departed from evil make himself a prey.
Yeah,
Meaning what? When you denounce the wickedness, you following the right path now. Everything around you is going to be against you now.
Satan will become the number one enemy of Satan.
Yeah. Now he's on a full attack mode against you. Your family gonna be talking shit against you. People at your job gonna be looking at you sideways. Your boss might, try to fuck with you.
Your opinions of things in this world will be contrary to everybody else.
Right.
You know,
And he that departed from evil maketh himself right.
Yeah. So hey, that's going into Peter. That was perfect what Peter said. You know, they're gonna be speaking evil of you. But hey, you on the bright side, they're not really speaking evil of you. They're speaking of evil of him that sinned. He that despiseth not. He that despiseth not. I think it's 1 Thessalonians 4:8. Actually, I'm already there.
yeah.
He therefore that despiseth not man, but the Most High,
Yeah.
who also have given unto us His Holy Spirit.
In John, I believe the outside said, it's not you that they hated, but it's me. It's not me that they hated, but he that sent me.
Right. Right, and they're gonna hate us because of the testimony.
Right.
I mean, why else is the beast gonna make war with us? Because of the testimony, man. We're the main ones that's standing up against this whole beast. We're denouncing their agenda, their enterprise. We're telling you that, hey, no, it's gonna be a new kingdom on earth. And it's gonna basically strip you. All right, it's gonna break your kingdom to pieces, man. That sounds very radical in the eyes of the rulers of the powers that be. So they're gonna come against us. We're standing against the image of the beast, which consists of his MOTB, all right, his the Vanessa, okay, the former Kia potion, his AI, Hollywood, his witchcraft and sorceries. We're taking a stand against all that, man. See?
Against that do what thou will beastly mentality
Right.
that you guys have on you.
Yeah, that immorality, the sexual perversion, the little Nas X type of people and that influence.
With the alphabet.
Yeah. So of course, you depart from that, you're gonna make yourself a prey in this wicked world. Because like it tells you in Psalm the 12th chapter, when the vilest, the wicked walk on every side, and the vilest man is exalted.
Yep, here it is.
And that man, the man of sin, he's at the highest level right now.
And he has to perpetuate that what he says, that vileness. I don't know that word to say it. But to perpetuate that, so he can be amongst that. It ain't that he's the most vile, but he accepts the most vile.
He is.
But he is, but in this case he is. So he's gonna put. But even though they have Edomites out there that claim to be Christians and so on and so forth and believers of the word and all of that, they'll still go out there and kill you, disregarding half of the stuff in this book.
Hey, even amongst some of the wicked sellouts amongst our people,
There you go.
even they started, they can see certain things, and even when they try to speak out, they get attacked.
Hey,
Nicki Minaj is the latest example.
Yeah. She was like a puppet for elites for a long time.
Yeah.
Now they got the new
Now all of
one.
a sudden,
Now they got a replacement for her. If you want to live regular life and they think regularly, nah, that ain't happening. We need you working for us or shutting the hell up.
you don't need to be talking about nothing. You're a court gesture. We gave you what you got. You need to be a good old girl, a good old You know, you'd be a good old slave and shut the hell up. You ain't got no business talking. But all she did was come out and question
Yeah.
the beat. She just said, "Hey, our relative down there in the island, he said that his nuts swelled up."
Yeah.
She tweeted that, and all of a sudden, oh, the White House got to talk to her now.
And look, but it's 157 million followers. So.
That caused an uproar.
Yeah. When they started to come against her, you know, they, that one, what's that black bitch name, man? I forget her name, but she basically put her on blast because they was trying to harass her. And they was basically saying, and we know where your no, it was in Kansas, it was another one. And basically, she was the station was like, hey, we know where your folks live down there. Wow. It was basically like on some threats and shit, man. Like we'll make an example if you don't, come and talk to us.
These are smart. They still think they got the power. They do to a certain degree.
Yeah.
You're gonna have more Jakes that's gonna begin to voice their opinion over these social media platforms.
Yeah.
And the people's minds are gonna be swayed, away from Esau's pharmakia and their agenda. I ain't saying they're gonna come into the truth, but hey, it's gonna be division like you never see.
Yep. Right. Yeah, man. So that's what's going on, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they make an example out of her ass.
Yeah.
They may not take her out, though. They damn sure will take.
Remember,
I'm pretty sure her handlers have talked to her already.
Her husband just got sent to the jail for Christmas.
Yeah. And she already lost her
Rose
brother.
McGowan? The lady?
No, it was a so-called black woman.
Oh,
She was trying to, put her on the spot or whatever. It was, she was trying to criticize her. But hey, that's what happens, man. All you gotta do is just question these devils, and it's just all-out attack mode, man. You can't say nothing against the image of the beast, man.
And Esau's done a great job at hypnotizing people, man.
Yeah.
You really do the job for him.
Right.
He doesn't have to go out of his way to persecute you anymore because he has the minds of the people to do it. It's like
always Jake.
It's like they're like minions,
Yeah.
They're like the little minions things.
But they always been that way. Going back to the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire, are people that was comfortable in them,
Comfortable with their position,
Their
in Esau's
position.
society.
They was always in league with Esau, and so whatever Esau enforced, they would try to come down and enforce that. When Antiochus Epiphanes was in power, who you think that was? That was making a pact with the heathen and telling Jake, hey, it's all good. Hey, it'll be better if we just go ahead and make an agreement with him.
It reminds me of a house slave mentality. Jake gets what? They get the extended pleasures, but they still on the plantation. But
Right.
they just get to live in the big house now.
Right.
And now they want to look down upon the field slaves,
Right.
so to speak. And like, oh man, well y'all need to be doing this, y'all need to be doing that. It's like, man, we're in the same position. But you don't know who your enemy is.
they got you thinking it's me.
Kind of like on Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
Jake like, oh, what we gonna do now?
No, what we're gonna do?
Hey, Parker was like, hey, you free.
You can own this house now.
God.
Yeah, real quick. This is John 11 and verse 47. Just dealing with them scribes and Pharisees. They was living comfortably, because they was tied in with getting, fame. They, to him, he was feeding the people. They was getting ready to crown. Right, so the chief priests and the Pharisees, they was getting anxious, man. It says, then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees and council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. They was just so concerned with their position.
Yeah.
They didn't care who was at top. They was just worried about their position and
Yeah, right.
same thing with Jake here. Look at the Christian church. A lot of those Christian pastors, they know what time it is. They see You know, it may not seem like they read the Bible. They read the Bible. They understand a little bit,
Right.
but they're going to push Esau's agenda just to keep that small portion or small position that they have here in society.
And the small position ain't but one level up in the lowest
Yeah.
that the rest of us are on.
And that's Jake. Jake, be one level above you would think.
Yeah,
You know.
the crabs of the bucket,
Yeah.
crabs of the barrel.
I
Don't have something.
I have something. This is
First, somebody quote Jeremiah 2. I think somebody posted on the comment board too. 2 and 33. Why Jeremiah style away?
You want
Okay.
to read it?
Yeah.
Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
That's Jake. Yep.
Yep.
And trim their way just to seek approval. You know, validation. You know, especially from their master. That's a slave mentality, man.
In this case, Jacob is trimming their way, getting their peace.
Yeah.
Trimming their health.
Right.
Yeah.
They're willing to be a freaking sacrifice, man.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna give yourself to you ain't gonna give your body and spirit to the Lord, but you'll give it to the devil.
Mhm.
That's only Jake, man. And actual Israelites that know that's supposed to know better. They're giving their bodies up to the beast, man. And telling others it's all right. So that lets you know that these got to be those same type of dudes coming back, man. They're comfortable. That's why it's nothing for them. You know, they want to get cozy right here. So hey, I'll take the mark. I'll take whatever, as long as I'm positioned right.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11 is pretty much the point. It says, in those days there went out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. That's the same mentality. I'm gonna click over.
That's a lot of them that got the 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
You're binded to that, man.
Yep.
And where in the scriptures did the Lord say that's you can do that? The Lord said He was going to build His church upon that rock, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
They out there teaching to follow after the beast.
Yeah.
And that was what they were going back on.
Yeah.
I got this one also.
See,
First.
Right now, like what they try to do with this whole operation, this is the time where Romans 13 is going to be used as a weapon. It's going to be weaponized.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to get you to think that by not rebelling and actually complying, you're following what the scripture said. But really, you're supposed to be doing the opposite.
Right.
This is where that don't apply.
And this is where that's taken out of context. The context of it being accurately implied is to obey those that rule over you through the Spirit. So what we know, our heads are the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. You know, so if we're following after what they're talking about, that puts that in proper perspective.
Yeah.
There's some time where you give unto Caesar what is Caesar's or whatever, but there's time that you don't. You know, you agree with the adversary quickly, but then there's time that you don't. You got to know how to discern the difference.
For example, laws like, hey, put on your seatbelt, while driving.
Yes, sir.
That's
Pay your taxes.
But when it comes to you basically living in Esau's law and his laws break, the law, statutes, and commandments and the ways of Yahweh Shem Shah, that's when you don't do it, man.
And it crosses over into the spiritual way.
You have to be
You don't
spiritual
follow
enough to just be able to discern it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And plus Romans 13 is admonishing the church, don't be like them zealots. You think that they can just take down the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's not our fight. That's not our office, man. We're to operate as wise as serpents and harmless as doves. We're supposed to be sheep in the midst of wolves. Okay, so they're gonna the fake pastors and prophets. They're gonna try to use Romans 13. You
You know,
So the 11th verse in this Maccabees was talking about the leadership that wanted the rest of the people to follow that. And those became those leaders, but then also you got this one in 40, verse 43, the same chapter. And yet many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed them to idols and profaned the Sabbath. And that's a lot of you guys are doing. You even see your congregations are saying it's okay to take the Jews. It's okay to you know,
they have
to be a part of that.
just set up at the churches.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Whether
pretty
it's the
soon,
black church
pretty
or the
soon,
Israelite church.
you won't be able to get into those churches without it.
Yep. Yep.
I got more.
Yep.
Jeremiah 2:33, why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked one thy ways. Verse 34, also in thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor innocents.
Mm.
I
Those
have-
that really like those that really went on to you in sincerity for answers, man. And you guys them straight into the ditch, man, into the slaughter. You got it?
I have not found it by secret search, but upon all these, yet thou sayest, because I am innocent. Surely his anger shall turn from me. Behold, I will plead with thee, because thou sayest, I have not sinned. Why gaddest thou about so much to change thy way?
Yeah, all of a sudden, it's all right now. You can trust this man of sorcery. Now you can break Leviticus 19 and 28 where it says, "Thou shalt not print any marks upon you."
And he cut him into the
Now all of a sudden you can defile your temple. Come on, man. Seriously?
And his top leader that said, you gotta come through me and get this word. The only dude, commanding general Johanna, can you get this word? But he's telling you, I know we don't trust Esau, but it's okay this time. But we've been through crack. It was worse with crack. This ain't be worse. What?
That nigga Zariak said it was only how many people? What 45,000 people that died?
Oh,
That's only less than 1%. I was like, dude, do you not know what you just said?
yeah.
You willing to take that chance?
You said tens of thousands of people died, so you admit.
40,000.
Yeah.
So you admit it, but then you still telling your men and the people that follow you, stop being a coward.
Hey,
In his mind, he thinks he's going, he's gonna think he's a mark.
Right.
yeah.
So, but that, bro.
No.
What the hell?
You think you're going around saying that Esau the devil?
But
You
yeah.
sound like a hypocrite. So you're telling Jake to trust the enemy. And
Just this time.
yeah,
Double
that's
minded.
The worst time to ever trust him. Now's the time to trust him.
Verse 36, why gaddest thou about so much to change thy way? Thou also shalt be ashamed of Egypt, and thou wast ashamed of Assyria. Yeah, thou shalt go forth from him, and thine hands upon thy head. For the Lord hath rejected thy confidences, and thou shalt not prosper in them.
I had a reason to go with you and read this Proverbs 3 and 31. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose under his ways. That's what they, Jake's Edomites want to go get the juice, and they feel like they missing out. So they'll let me go get it too. Did Johanna say something like that about
Back to the beach, man.
no, it said something like, well, Edomites is getting you and
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're gonna have, something like
at the
that.
same time, it's like, why would he give you something that kills you? Because y'all are his
Slave, y'all. Yeah.
They say it's bond man or something.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do all this dirty
Service
work.
worker.
Yeah.
You saying all that? You really maybe you don't know this devil, man. Maybe you really don't know who this devil is, man.
Maybe you don't know the history of this.
They didn't want them to say that they weren't oppressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Zaryak said that on that what's his name? Jesse what's that old dude name?
Yeah. It's all about the slut walk.
Yeah,
Got his last name, yeah.
Yeah, he said, me personally, I'm not oppressed, but my
Yeah.
people. All right, man.
All he had to clean that up was, I'm not spiritually oppressed because I know he was saying he's not oppressed.
So many statements made from them guys, just you eat Peterson, the water.
Peterson, yep.
Those type of statements, it just gives them a weight that they're living in comfort. You know, they're those men that are in easy Zion, and they settle on their lease. That's the why that's that. Come on, man. They're telling you to comply so we can continue to be comfortable. That's all that's about. So we can continue to get this money. All my members keep paying your tithes. We keep having these expensive Passovers. We can, put out these mixtapes and music and whatever we want to do, and act like we the, we those dudes on the block, so to speak.
They dress the part,
Kinda.
and have all these costumes on, but they really not deep, they not spiritual. So yeah.
Well, in sheep's clothing. I want to say this, and then if I can read the brother's scripture, but I want to say this to it. The reason that this is important in these times is because our people are going to hear about Hebrew Israelites, and they're just going to go to wherever they find first.
Yeah.
But you still have to be able to discern who is actually guiding you in the righteous way of Yahweh Shem Shah. If you're going to one of these other groups, any of them is going to teach you the basics, and it's going to be good for you. But you got to know where to, and then this is all going to happen last minute for a lot of people. They're going to wake up and just try to find the way of what to go. They're not going to know to go through all the clutter and BS to find great millstone, to find that acute way.
Well, you know when that's going to happen?
The power.
When the Lord made examples out of the leaders.
Yeah.
And you start doing that, and also when they make that Karagma mandatory.
Yep.
When that happens, there's going to be a great scatter.
Because that's what Apostle Kahar, I think he did it today. The difference between the camps is the doctrine. And you're going to see who has, because just like people aren't asking the men of the Lord too much about the JAB, the Jews. What do you think about this? When that MOTC comes up, hey, they're gonna want to know. They're gonna need a definite answer with details.
Yes.
Because it's something in Jake's spirit. They already know that the Jews ain't right, but they still kind of stupid. But this, they're gonna want to know. The ins and outs. This ain't.
I'm facing jail time if I don't take it.
Exactly. They're gonna know what it really is. So they're gonna be looking and searching because they may go to ISUPK. They may go to a date, but and some of them may take it. Okay, that's what it says. But a lot of them are not gonna stop there. They're gonna search deeper. To get the real answer. And we have them.
And it's going to be evident who the Lord's chosen truly are.
Yeah.
Read this one. You got
I expect the
Oh yeah, let me read this one right quick. This is from Awalam Award 144K, Jeremiah 5:27. It says, "For among my Salaki 26, 5 verse 26, for among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap. They catch men." And these other doctrines of what catch you, but you don't know it. They're leading you right into the way of destruction. They lead you right into the wrong way. You're set up to, or they're set up, shall I say, to take you out. Not to bring you into the congregation. Okay, but you have to be able to be on a level to discern the difference between those groups that are going to lead you to a dead end and the righteous path of the true men of the Lord. You got it, bro.
Ezekiel 34:1. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power unto the shepherds. Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flocks? You eat the fat, and you clothe you with the wool. You kill them that are fed, but you feed not the flock. The disease have you not strengthened, neither have you healed that which is sick, neither have you bound up that which was broken, neither have you brought again that which was driven away, neither have you sought that which was lost, but have forced with cruelty have you ruled them. And they were scattered because there was no shepherd, and they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. That's that higher league.
Yeah.
You don't care for the sheep, man. You care about your own ulterior motives. You care about your own belly. That's all you're concerned with. Your comfort zone, your desires, your pleasures, man. But you acted as if you're for the flock. You get up on there on your radio shows or go up there and speak with your microphone. You putting on a show, man.
Mm-hmm.
People gravitate to personality and gimmicks and all that shit.
Long words.
Yeah.
And you don't want to hear about how strict it is living inside this. You just want to hear a difference. You don't want to give your best to it. It's that Cain spirit. You don't want to give the best. You just want to give an offering of yourself. Well, I'll give this much percentage of myself, but I need this much still in the world to operate. Well, over here, we're not talking about that. We're giving our hearts, mind, body, and soul over to this thing.
It says, my sheep wandered through all the mountains and upon every high hill, yet my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord as I live, saith the Lord power. Surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there was no shepherd, neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my flock. Therefore, O ye shepherds, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand, and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. Neither shall the shepherds feed themselves any more, for I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. So there's going to be some of the Lord's elect amongst these other congregations. The Lord's going to lead them out of there, man. And it's going to be a series of events that's going to happen. That's going to cause them to flee from away from them.
Right.
And some of them are going to flee to the true shepherds of the Lord's flock.
Right. It's already begun.
God. We're going to start to see that happening, man. You already start to see that on the low level. Certain dudes that was down with some of the guys, they're coming over and they're saying, hey, you brothers are right, man. You're right.
That shows good.
God.
And it's funny because they're coming over from what they've been told, thinking we're going to be a certain way. But that's not how we are. Like, y'all actually cool.
Yeah.
Y'all actually give me all the information I need. Yeah, that's all this is really about. We don't care where you came from. We care that you get it done.
Right, because a lot of them, when they join these certain organizations,
GMS.
they were sincere.
Yeah, they came in.
They came in sincere, and they've been, you can say, their minds have been polluted with a lot of the bullshit and the gimmicks. Maybe those gimmicks tied them in, and they became sincere. But there's a lot of sincere Israelites among these other groups, and like the brother was saying, that they're going to come out of that. They're going to say, they're going to get to a point where they say this ain't right. Like Jake was looking at that Passover. He was like, come on, man, this is
something wrong about this.
Something,
I don't like those GMS guys. They're right about this.
And it's like
And the newest thing, like, because it just popped up. It came back up how ISUPK and IUIC, they teach that you can have sex on the Sabbath. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found out, which to my knowledge, it was a dude that left Sakari. He be watching Great Millstone videos now. He said that Sakari start teaching that. All these dudes, it's the same groups, reprobate, man, waxing worse and worse. So some of these guys that's listening to us, even though they're part of those groups, they're starting to sound like, oh man, these dudes, they're actually on point.
And there's so many, man, it's the spirit you say that, because I was reading Samuel today where David didn't come to Saul because they said he might have been dirty. What is it? Yeah, dirty. Clean. And
it was Saul that said it.
Yeah.
He didn't show up to the new moon feast. The seat was empty, and he was like, he must be unclean. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
But that's just one example of the scriptures where it it shows you these dudes is all about pleasure.
That's it. And then it's the same dudes, because of their pleasure, they're gonna sell you over to the devil, man. Just to hold on to that comfort. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
This is Micah chapter 3, verse 9. Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity.
Yeah, that blood is through them bribes that they took. You know, so now that you bribes, now you gotta basically lead your people to the slaughter, man.
Because Esau ain't gonna take the money back. But go here, Esau, you know. No.
Go ahead.
The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof do bind for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? No evil can come upon us. That's what it is. That's what they do. They really think that the Lord is dealing with them.
Yeah, and they just doing it for the bag.
Yeah. And he said it. The nigga said it on the one thing.
Doing it for the bag, man. Really? What do the scriptures say about the love of money? It's the root of all evil, man. You don't know, you can't see that you're doing evil. Well, apparently you don't. The Lord he got you spiritually blind. You know, and hey, and the blind should lead the blind, and both shall surely fall into that ditch, man. Let them, you know.
I got another one. Isaiah 56:10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark.
If you can't see what the hell this devil got going, man, how it pertains to, you know, this devil basically trying to cut off the nation of Israel. Come on, man. Like, you're not a prophet if you can't see what this devil is doing. You're not a prophet at all.
Yeah, you gotta bark, you gotta warn people.
Yeah.
The dog barks, it's a warning.
Right. Every day you should be sounding the alarm on what this devil got going, man. You know how many videos, how many channels we lose because we're constantly blowing. We're blowing the hell out of the trumpet, man. They ain't touching your channels because you ain't. What y'all talking about, man? Seriously.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sleeping, lying down, loving the slumber. And all those things I just read are synonymous with pleasure.
Yeah.
You know?
Comfort.
Yeah.
You just want to lay down, you know.
I want to
they'll be all right. I just
chill.
want to chill.
That's what that God does, man.
Yeah.
Just lost spending, yeah.
You're just like a Jake that on the job you expected to get a full pay, but you on the job just
Chilling.
sitting around and shit, thinking that your CEO is gonna be all right with that. No, that's how you get your ass terminated real quick.
They hitting.
Yeah, did not the brother read earlier in Matthew 24? Blessed is that servant who the Lord, when he cometh back, so find so doing. And I'm not to say that y'all ain't doing nothing. You out there teaching, doing. What about breaking down the beast, breaking down the right way?
What about correlate with these current events with prophecy in place that are going to take place? Esau is pretty much just basically showing you his cards.
Yep.
You know, and what he's going to do.
He's somebody.
Yeah.
Well, it shows you who has that testimony.
Right.
You know, it shows you that the testimony of Yahweh, spirit of prophecy, and those that aren't prophesying don't have the testimony.
And it's okay. It's okay. But be quiet. Let us do our job. Or be smart enough to get on board with what we're teaching and see the truth in it and start speaking those things. Because we're breaking down all the countries involved and things are coming to pass with these same prophetic countries that make up the beast. and the ones that are opposing the beast, that's beginning to hate the whore, that are among the beasts. All these are coming to fruition in these times right now. Okay? And they're in the draconian laws and the two horns, the land is fake of the dragon, and the two horns, and all of that. We're breaking all that down so you can see exactly what's happening in these current events.
Yeah, we get into the secret council of the wicked.
Yeah.
You know? The ones that rich elite banking families that control that beast, man.
That they don't share this information. So how did y'all get it? We got it through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. His word laid it out for us. Then we'll find the current event articles that's putting these pieces together and share them with you people.
All the members at RUIC guy, how many? Why ain't they all teachers? Right?
Yeah, they should be purple on every
Man.
YouTube. Israelites should be purple.
Even if it's 50% occupied.
Right.
Right? They're probably the largest Israelite.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The largest.
It is sure when they're going together that much.
If they were teaching the same doctrine we teach, we may be on,
Yeah.
you know,
Real shit.
how it is. Yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, even one for his gain or his quarter, from his quarters, like it.
Yeah. All they concerned with is that bad.
See their own gain.
Their own game, man. You know? So these guys are not genuine at all. Okay? That's why we constantly, start with the elder apostles on down. And we always got to make mention of these guys. So even Apostle Paul said that, these guys are enemies of the cross, man. They're enemies of the cross of Yahweh Shai. You know? Because they're concerned with earthly things. They're not concerned with the things of the spirit, man. Their God is their belly. That's who they're serving. But they're telling you, oh, call on Yahweh Shem Shai. Yahweh Shem Shai Bakatah. They can say that all day. But we know that even Apostle Paul said that Yahweh Shai, he's preached even in pretense. Some preach of envy and strife, some of goodwill, and some, he's preaching in pretense. But hey, what we basically give the credit is, hey, at least Yahweh Shai is being preached. But just because you came in his name, that don't mean that you're gonna be one of the ones that's gonna be going up there.
Yeah.
Not every man that said to me, Lord, Lord,
Yeah.
shall enter in, man.
That's why it's so important. That's why it's so important you get the full understanding of these prophecies, man, and the breakdowns of these scriptures and how they apply in this time. So you can teach that. So those will change how you move. You'll be more concerned about being spiritually clean because you'll go into the history and see they were unclean, so these things happened unto them. Or they were outside the temple because of this unclean. And the uncleanness don't mean that they were sexually or physically unclean, but they may be spiritually unclean with a bad breakdown. That they don't know to take something or not. That they don't know who not to follow. They don't know what's the righteous spirit to be in. Okay? They hit them.
Hey, I asked the spirit, I was going to try to go to that in Titus. But I can go there real quick. Go to Titus. Titus 1. Titus start like around verse 9.
This is Titus 1 and 9. Holding fast the faithful word as he had been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers.
Wait, hold on. It said by what?
Yep.
By sound doctrine,
Yep.
both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers.
By sound doctrine.
Not by hip hop groups, not by the dopest lyrics in Israel, not by winning the Israelite awards or Black Conference awards or shit like that.
Right.
But just by sound doctrine, just by you being able to see the prophecies line themselves up, getting you the proper understanding of what we're supposed to do when certain events and certain situations come about.
That word sound is from the Greek ugieno. And it says in the Strong's, It says to have sound health, i.e., be well in body, figuratively, to be uncorrupt, true in doctrine. And then it says down here, it says metaphorically of Christians, which we know that Israelites, whose opinions are free from any mixture of error. You know, because we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. We know that no lie is of the truth, and a lot of you guys, you're speaking half truths. You're not speaking the full truth, and you get trippy when we say that we have the full truth, 100% truth. Well, to say that you have 100% truth is saying you're teaching sound doctrine. All right, and if you're teaching that the mark is anything other than the microchip, you're not teaching sound doctrine.
You gotta have everything. You can't have 99.9. You gotta have 100%.
Right.
Yeah, and that's
If you're teaching that you can have sex on the Sabbath day, that's not sound doctrine. That's a lie.
you say that you can cut it into your flesh. That's something we can control. That's not sound doctrine.
You're teaching that King Solomon had the MOTV.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's sound doctrine.
Yeah.
Paul had it too, right?
Yeah, that was one of the most bugged out shit I've ever heard. I remember when Johanna said that years ago, a decade ago. That was the most. I was like, what's wrong with this dude, man?
Yeah.
I knew back then this guy was a bug out. You know?
But to show you how sleep his followers are, they continue to follow him after that.
Yeah.
When the beast wasn't even
wasn't around back
around.
then. The last beast was going to do this.
Yeah.
Solomon was around before any of the beasts
Any
even
version of
popped
the
up.
yeah. For Edomites was even ruling.
You know? So yeah, man. But like the scriptures, Yahweh Shai said, he said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. They will not hear the voices of strangers, man. That's to somebody that has the spirit, that's strange to them. Wait, the mark of the beast. Wait, Solomon have the mark of the beast. Wait, the mark is sin. So none of us are gonna make it.
Yeah.
There's no salvation for Israel if the mark is sin. There's no hope.
There's no new covenant.
Because then now you got to admit that you are under sin, being in the flesh. And if you say you have no sin, like it tells you in 1 John, you're a liar.
Yeah.
So just say that you got the mark of the beast and you're gonna be destroyed then, if that's the case.
How can you teach? Why would people want to follow you if that's what you teach?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna want to follow. Y'all doctors say y'all done. So I better go somewhere else.
Yeah. So if you teach that hell, you know, basically you're gonna burn forever.
Yeah.
You know, 2/3 they're not gonna be forgiven ultimately. They're gonna just burn away forever. Come on, man. That's not sound doctrine.
That's important. That's not gospel. That's important that you know that's cleared up.
Because you gotta understand, when you speak these things, you're playing with people's lives, salvation. There's salvation.
Exactly.
So you tell them the wrong thing, as the scripture says, you know, the blood's gonna be upon your hands, but say that person tells somebody else.
Right.
And then you planted that wicked seed that
going out in the earth.
going out in the earth, where you may have a whole family believing that, hey, they believe in Israel, they believe in the name of the Lord, but it's okay to have sex on the Sabbath day. And you know, and then who knows where it goes from there. You know?
Yahweh Shai said it in Matthew 5. If you teach not to, how you go to
Finish that with Titus.
Yeah, no, the quote I'm talking about.
If you
teach, quote.
Yeah. We're talking about the commandments.
Yeah.
You know, think not I'm come to destroy the law of the prophets. I came not to destroy but to fulfill. And he said that anybody that teach
that's why I got stuff.
you teach yeah, you know.
Sometimes
we be thinking we can memorize it.
We got to close. Yeah, it's
Verse
right
19. Basically, you releasing the kingdom.
Yep, I got it. It's
Back, you're gonna go back to
real quick.
after
Yep,
that.
19. I was trying to quote it, so we have to go to Matthew 5, verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
It
That's
is.
the point. Yep. Difference right there.
Yeah, go back to that.
Is Titus 1:10. But there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision.
Yeah, so there's a lot of them out there, man. And through the Spirit, it seemed like this year, most of these guys showed themselves.
Yeah.
All these doctrines just start popping up, man. But there's just a confirmation that the Lord is making a separation, and the hearts of many men is being revealed. All right, the Lord is searching Jerusalem with that candle, so that's why all these things are coming out.
He said that thou was going out right about now.
Yeah,
He's choosing who's gonna have it and who's gonna have that other. You
other
know?
more.
Yeah.
Whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not.
We've been through that just now, talking about you
Whole
know
houses.
that butterfly effect. If you push one bad energy out, that one bad doctrine out, that is exponentially. How does it go? Exponentiate, right? On and on to other. Yeah, it goes out exponentially where other people believe something wrong, and that continues to grow, and not in the form of sound doctrine.
Yeah, was that in Timothy where he says they were either like a canker.
Yeah. Yep.
In other words, it spreads like a cancer.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
canker worm, it eats crops, it kills it, and it spreads. Because it spreads.
It says, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, but good people forsake. And this is 2 Timothy 4 and 3.
Yep.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables.
Keep going. I think it's another verse.
But watch thou in all things,
Full proof of thy ministry, and then hold fast that which is good. And this doctrine that you willing to bet your life on. Okay, that's why we say we have 100%, because when we go back and do the diligent search of it, we know that we add. You know what? I believe enough in this that I'm willing to put my life on the line for this, because that's what's really at stake.
Yeah. We're going to be persecuted for the doctrine.
That's right.
That was it. Go back to Titus.
it is 11, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, but good to forsake.
Yeah.
One of themselves, even a prophet of their own,
You just read all the way down.
a prophet of their own said the Grecians are always liars, equal east. This witness is true, wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the truth.
That's
what
what.
yes.
That's why we rebuke. That's why we constantly get on these dudes, man. And they don't even consider it that this is the hand of Yahweh Shai trying to, reach out, man.
Yep.
They think we're jealous of them or something.
Yeah, envious. Yeah. That's normally what they say. Oh, they hate you. They hate. GMS was hating because they see me in the beans.
I forgot already that thing.
Yeah. They think it's hate, man.
This is one of the coldest acts of tough love there is, man. The most sincere acts of tough love. But hey, if you don't receive it that way, that's on you. Because what we've done by warning you, rebuking you sharply, we got the blood off, your blood is off of our hands. There's more, yeah.
It says, wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled.
Their mind and conscience is defiled, man. That's that 11 is in there.
They profess that they know Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate.
Yeah. You know, bunch of reprobate silver. The Lord had rejected them, man. That's their actions show for it. There's not a way you conduct yourself when you have a flock to tend to. You know, putting yourself out there like that. I'm gonna go inside Nether and explain to everybody why I got this. Come on, man. As a leader.
On Salt Letter.
Yeah. You know?
Cap, you're my captain, but Cap, you shouldn't be able to say shit like that.
He shouldn't be on this platform.
Yeah, on this platform.
He ain't telling, he not telling the people that, he only for entertainment. For, I'm pretty sure Sonetta came down with some bread.
Gas money, something. But damn.
Yeah. They in this thing for, they're not in this for the sincere reasons, man.
They really don't love you. I was shocked.
No.
That's what truth is.
You know, and more is going to be revealed in these last times, man. Okay? And watch what's going to start happening. The Lord's going to start making examples out of cats, man. We know the judgment must begin at his house, man. If you took that the venom, we might not see you on video, or we might not hear from you in 6 months.
Yeah.
If we even hear that long. Yeah.
I'm fine.
It's not cancer.
It's not cancer. My lungs are good. So on and so forth, man. Come on.
And really,
we
we ain't rejoicing.
No.
We're not, we ain't gonna mock like that. But hey, we were the most vocal.
Yeah.
When it came down to it, we were the most vocal.
Hey, I'm mocking.
We annoyed y'all.
Hey, I'm mocking. You mocked my Lord with his name and all that. I'm mocking.
Hey.
Straight up. Now I would prefer you repented and came back in. Let's be real. But if you're not, you're gonna stay hard headed and prideful. I'm a mock. Straight up.
Yeah, man. I don't know if he was holding.
You been home. You got 15 precepts.
You got something?
This is Luke 12 and 46. The Lord of that servant will come in a day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers.
Yep.
And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, because Jake ultimately knows, man. They know what the truth is. It's clear and evident that the Marcus is here, man.
Yeah.
It's clear that Vanessa is venom, man.
Poison is potion.
Kind.
Yeah, and even, it's tied to something bigger than just being poisoned.
Yep. Yeah.
What they're shooting into you is plugging you in to the system.
Hang on the word.
The karma is going to be the final step.
Yeah.
Once you get this, you already have a product number.
Yeah.
You already patented it. Your soul, your body is now a product of the beast now.
It's changing natural biology.
Right.
Biology that the Lord gave.
Right.
You're putting in an application to get the final product, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to wait for this.
Yeah, kind of.
This is just to hook you up, so to speak.
I had an
So
article.
it's far greater, man. This devil's, he's coming down on the world with it. If you're getting down with what this devil's trying to do globally, bruh, you're leading the way to basically to the image of the beast. You're telling them, hey, it's safe. You can worship the image. It's all right.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what you're saying, man. All right.
But I was watching a thing. It was a video. It wasn't an article, but what he was saying in there, when you put that into the mRNA, or basically changes you from human to transhuman. Now you can put a product code on transhuman,
Yeah.
and then the proof is in now in your DNA,
That-
and it's replicated through your whole body now.
It's kind of like the, what is it, the Emancipation Proclamation where you were translated to.
That's the same. It's the same moment.
Yeah.
Property being transit.
It's the same thing.
47. And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
And that's why in the end, Millstone gonna have to answer a lot of these questions. That's why we tell brothers in this thing that, hey, some of you right now are just believers and that's watching and learning, but eventually you're gonna have to go out and teach people. You're gonna be, we say heads of camps. You're gonna lead other groups, man. You're gonna have to, because we may not still be on the internet, but you still may come into a house that wants to be edified, that believes. Now you have to give them the hope that is in you about what led you this long through this truth that's keeping you stable in these last days. To edify them that they may believe on that level. So you have a responsibility to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that will make them stable as well.
I'll read one. Jeremiah chapter 23, and I'll start at 13. And I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesy in Baal and cause my people Israel to err. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem and hold nothing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of evildoers.
Take it. It's okay. Strengthening the hands of the evildoers.
It's strength in the hands of the evildoers.
Yeah.
Well, that's helping Esau further his enterprise.
Yeah.
You know, because what? You're basically helping him with his new world order, man. Because what? You're pushing the same energy and agenda as him.
Yep.
They strengthen that also the hands of evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah.
Fire and brimstone shall be your end.
Yep. So the Lord's he's gonna put a full end to these false prophets out there, man. You know, we just, washed off.
Yeah.
You know, and anybody that want to follow these guys, it's on you, man. May the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, have mercy on whomever he's going to have mercy on and direct you to the right way. But hey, you know, it is what it is. All right. So anyway, you know, we're going to close out, you know, the water to you, Joachim. You're tuning in to water for the precepts. Hopefully, y'all were edified. We'll give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, the one to the elder apostles of the great Musa who well, peace and salutations to the tabernacle of David, for elect. Shalom.
So